Hello, I'm Tom Roberts, author of the Mindfulness Workbook, A Beginner's Guide to Overcoming Fear and Embracing Compassion. This video's title, Mindfulness Does Nothing at All, is designed to help us understand and more fully embrace what the experience of living mindfully is all about. Frequently, when we embark on learning a new technique, we do so with a goal in mind. For example, learning how to play the piano, we have a goal in mind. Learning a certain method of art or poetry, or learning how to write a short story, learning how to play soccer or baseball. We have a certain goal in mind. We may want to make it to the World Cup. We may want to write a best-selling novel. Mindfulness is a little bit different than that. Over 40 years ago, when I began my own personal mindfulness and meditation practice, I did so with some expectations. I began this practice thinking, I'm going to learn to meditate in order to be calmer. I'm going to learn to meditate to achieve enlightenment. I'm going to learn to meditate to unravel all the kinks of my childhood. And I'm sure the list can go on. In short, I approached mindfulness as though it was going to get me to some sort of end result. Similar to getting in the car and driving to Chicago. Get in the car, get out the map, find out your route, drive there, you get to Chicago, there you are. Mindfulness doesn't work quite that way. As my practice unfolded, I began to feel as though the more I practiced, the further away from that goal I got. Much in the same way as the Red Queen said to Alice in Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll, the faster I go, the behinder I get. And that was much of my experience with meditation. It seemed as though the more I did it, the further away from that goal that I had set out I seemed to be getting. So I was really puzzled about why was this happening. I also began to see a similar sort of thing occurring with people that were attending retreats and workshops that I was conducting, because they too were saying the same thing. Frequently I would hear people come up to me and say, geez, Tom, I've been practicing meditation for X number of years and it just doesn't seem to be doing anything. And that really kind of fit in with my own experience of kind of, yeah, geez, you're kind of right, it really isn't doing anything. So what I then had to learn to do was step back and say, so what is my expectation here? My expectation is that if I do A, I get B. And oftentimes we're taught to think that way. If I'm going to take art lessons, I want to learn how to draw a recognizable landscape. If I am going to learn how to play baseball, I want to be able to swing the bat in a way that I can at least, bat 250, 300. So we're taught to think that if I do A, I really expect to have B. When we practice mindfulness, we have to let go of that second part. If I practice mindfulness, I have to let go of what the results are going to be. And that's a very difficult concept for many of us to embrace. Do mindfulness for no reason at all? And my answer to that is yes. Do mindfulness for mindfulness' sake. As soon as we attach an outcome to mindfulness, say mindfulness to reduce stress, mindfulness to reduce blood pressure, mindfulness to become a better parent, mindfulness to become more spiritually enlightened. As soon as we attach an outcome to mindfulness, in my opinion, we're not doing mindfulness anymore. We may be doing some other things, and they may be beneficial. But we're not practicing what mindfulness really is. And what I encourage myself over and over and over again, even after 40 years of meditation practice, and also people that come to retreats and workshops, is to let go of that specific result. Simply practice mindfulness for mindfulness' sake. And what begins to happen, and I outline this in my book, the more you practice bringing mindful living skills into your life, the more all those other benefits naturally begin to occur. If you begin to do it for those benefits are going to seem further and further and further away. So the purpose of this video is to help us understand that when we practice mindfulness, do it just for that sake. And we have to learn to let go of those results. Because if we're holding on to results, then we end up judging ourselves. Well, I'm not getting very far, or I'm not doing it right, or I don't have the right teacher, or I haven't read the right book yet. And we begin to self-criticize ourselves, maybe our teacher, or whoever it might be. Because we've said, if I'm going to be doing this, I want to get that. And if that doesn't occur, then we become judgmental. So when practicing mindfulness, it requires a great deal of trust and faith. That simply by learning these powerful kinds of mindfulness skills, that all those other benefits will occur naturally and of their own accord. And that takes a lot of trust in practicing that, and then sitting back and watching what begins to happen in your life simply because you're practicing mindfulness, practicing meditation for mindfulness' sake. And that's it. So I hope this has been helpful, and I hope to see you again in future videos. Thank you.